But today we're here to announce season 5. 81 new concerts in our 5th anniversary season, 81 more opportunities for you, the audience, and us to be taken on a journey away from our 24-hour news cycles, away from the mundane realities of our daily lives, and to enter into this hall, or into Mazzolini Hall, into our Conservatory Theater for at least 2 hours of uninterrupted concert, uninterrupted music. So, on to the season. Back in January, we announced some of our classical, most of our classical, and some of our jazz concerts, and those concerts are selling very well. Some of them are close to selling out. We've invited back some of our old friends like Anton Querti and Midori. Mr. Beethoven will be back in full force this year. We're going to introduce you to some new talent and some brand new, newly minted music. We explored the music of 2 great jazz icons. We explored the music of a single country and many facets of that country, Italy. We give voice to the voiceless people of Mali on 2 concerts. We go to the movies, we go to Broadway. And our artists come from 23 different countries to share their stories and their music with us. September 28th is our opening night with the great Audra McDonald, 5-time Tony winner, opening our 5th anniversary. Back in, I think it was 1996, when she was just a fledgling Broadway star with only 2 Tony Awards, she decided to start doing some concerts. And the first concert she ever did outside of a Broadway hall with sets and costumes and everything else was at the Ravinia Festival, and I was happy enough to be the presenter of that. So we've remained great friends, and she's thrilled to come and open our season. It's again presented by BMO, so we thank BMO for being our presenting sponsor. And our 2 gala co-chairs for that evening are Ellie Barlin-Daniels and Susan Harris, and they are raring to go to make this a fabulous party and a spectacular evening to raise money for the conservatory. The next night, next afternoon actually, we kick off a new series called La Dolce Musica, which is a series of all Italian music across 6 nights over the course of the season. And we open with our very own Arc Ensemble doing a free concert here in Koerner Hall as part of Culture Days. Now, there are actually no Italians in the Arc Ensemble, but they're playing a full evening of Italian music with some Puccini and some Tedesco, Mendelssohn's Italian Symphony. We then travel all across Italy. We have folk from Naples. We have jazz music from Sicily. We have one of the world's leading tenors, Metropolitan Opera star Marcello Giordani, joining us for the first time in recital in Toronto. We have an entire evening of Vivaldi played by the Europa Galante Baroque Ensemble with their leader, violinist Fabio Biondi. We have the music of Nino Rota, played by one of the world's greatest living accordionists, Richard Galliano, playing the music of The Godfather and La Strada and La Dolce Vita and Amarcord, all the great music written by Nino Rota. And we also have an evening of 2 of the, probably in my estimation, two of the greatest singers of the 20th century, Frank Sinatra and Paolo Conti. Frank Sinatra songbook will be sung by John Pizzarelli, and the Paolo Conti songbook will be sung by a Toronto-based Italian-Canadian named Daniela Nardi. She's got a new record out called Espresso Manifesto. You might have heard her name in Toronto. She's also doing a little show at the Bata Museum on June 25th. So she's going to open that show with her versions of Paolo Conti music. And just to give you a little antipasta of what you're going to hear in the Italian series, Daniela is here with her husband, pianist Ron Davis. So please give them a rousing welcome, and you'll hear a little Paolo Conti.
Pomeriggio è troppo azzurro e lungo per me. Mi accorgo di non avere più risorse senza di te. E allora io quasi prendi il treno, vengo da te. Ma il treno dei desideri miei, pensieri all'incontrario va.
Next up, we have our jazz series, our TD Jazz series. TD's back with us for the 4th year out of 5, as is Jazz FM 91. We've celebrated Oscar Peterson, we've celebrated Dizzy Gillespie this year, we've celebrated Latin jazz, we've celebrated the great saxophone players, but now it's time, don't you think, to celebrate some singers. So we have a celebration of Dinah Washington and Sarah Vaughan, both of whom would have been 90 years old in 2014. We have 5 concerts, including concerts by Denzel Sinclair and Kurt Elling on a double bill. Ramsey Lewis will be here with a great young singer named Cecile McLaren-Salvant. The Terry Lynn Carrington Mosaic Project, an all-female, all-star band, will be here with lead trumpet Ingrid Jensen, and Nona Hendricks from the great days of Patti LaBelle, and LaBelle is one of the singers, along with Carmen Lundy. And we start off that series, with an all-Canadian night, starring a who's who of Canadian jazz talent. On vibes, we have Don Thompson. On guitar, Red Schwager. On saxophone, Kelly Jefferson. On drums, Mark McLean. On bass, Paul Novotny. And 3 incredible voices, Randy Lee, Jackie Richardson, and Arlene Duncan. Now, there's no one else that I can think of that can pull all that together, do the arrangements, and give justice to Dinah and Sarah. So under his direction, all this will come together in October, and that person is none other than Joe Seeley, also a radio personality at Jazz FM, and one of the best piano players this country's ever produced. So here to give you a little sample of what's going to be on that series are Joe Seeley and Arlene Duncan.
Do you know how a lost heart feels? The thought of reminiscing, and how lips that taste of tears lose their taste for kissing.
But now we're 5 years old. We're no longer crawling. We're cooking with gas, and so now's the time to start a new series called 21C Music, and we have the great fortune of having leadership of Michael and Sonia Koerner to help us do that. This is not a contemporary classical music festival. It is not a new music festival. It is not an indie rock creative festival. It's a festival of music that is new. But we're bringing some of the most fearless, engaging, cutting edge, and melodic composers and musicians that are on the scene right now. Over 5 nights, we'll have 8 concerts that will be presented. We'll feature 20 Canadian, Toronto, and world premieres. It will be the first of 5, at least 5, 21C Music Festivals on an annual basis every May, and we'll launch it on May 21st this year. We'll have quote-unquote classical composers like Murray Schafer and Christos Hatzis, young Canadian composers like Zosha de Castri, but we'll also feature a new piano quintet by the jazz composer Yuri Kane. We'll also feature a new string quartet, the first ever string quartet written by flamenco composer Javier Limon, who's a great record producer and has produced many of the great Spanish records that are on the shelves right now. 2 of the nights will also feature late night concerts in our Conservatory Theater, where we'll have 3 or 4 pieces. The bar will be open, a much more casual atmosphere. Everything that we are doing in this festival will be web streamed around the world. Performers include the Afiara String Quartet, the Pacifica Quartet, Marc-André Amelin, the Esprit Orchestra, a number of musicians presented by New Music Concerts, and a lot of Toronto-based musicians who will come together to form what we will call the 21C Music Ensemble. Full schedule of this new series will be available in January. We'll do a big kickoff. So there you have it. That's 81 concerts. I said we get out of here by 7. It's 7:07. So we will celebrate 5 years in this spectacular home next season. We'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Invesco, BMO, TD, RBC Foundation, our government partners, the Department of Canadian Heritage and the Ontario Arts Council, our individual donors, and our biggest donors. Our biggest pool of donations for the concerts here come from you, the ticket buyers.